I have a quick update for all the Divi University members over at diviuniversity.com. So anyone that purchased Divi 5 Mastery has now been moved over to Divi 5 Mastery 2. This is a course that teaches you how to use Divi 5 properly. For those of you that are not aware of this, Divi 4 has been upgraded or built from the ground up to Divi 5, and this has changed a lot of things in terms of the workflow and how Divi 5 works. So when I did the Divi 5 Mastery course, this was missing a lot of features that were added later on by Divi. So I had to redo the course from the ground up. So I redesigned the whole course to include all the latest features because the interface had changed and a lot more was going on. So you have been invited to join the course. Absolutely free. It's a free upgrade from the Divi 5 Mastery to the Divi 5 Mastery 2. And also, the price for this course is only $37. I'm trying to make it accessible to a lot of designers out there because I see a lot of people struggling with Divi 5, and understandably because it has been built from the ground up and the UI has changed a lot. So the workflow is completely changed. So this course will teach you the proper way of setting up Divi 5 for the first time, and also the workflow on how to achieve perfect looking websites. Now, the other thing I also want to mention is the price of $37 is going to be going up. So secure the price now. I will be adding a lot more lessons to this course because as Divi is improving and adding more features, I will be adding more and more features at no extra cost. So by now you should have received an email inviting you to the Divi 5 Mastery 2. The next update that I want to talk about, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be excited about this, is KrafterPRO. This is our Divi 5 design system. So the first feature that's going to come in version 1.1 is to deal with the images. So here we have an image out of the box that we add into our builder. But as you can imagine, there is no way for us to go in and fix our images. In fact, let me just show you over here because it's much easier to show you like that. So this is by default how an image is added. And now we are able to have different aspect ratios. So for example, with this image here, if we come over here, we can change this to portrait, video, square. In fact, this is 16:9. So let's just use this as our example. So if I select it and then I go in here and then choose portrait, you can see the size has changed. So now our image here will go in as portrait. If I change this to 16:9, this is pretty much the aspect ratio that we have it at. And then we also have square. Okay, so now we are able to have our square images, and this is really, really cool. So if I go in here and choose our image, you can see here that it conforms to that square. And if I change it here to, let's say, portrait, you can see there it changes, it crops everything, and it doesn't stretch. And this is fully responsive as well. So now we're able to go in and work with our images, which is fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about here is our headings. So at first, our headings were using media queries to go in and make sure that everything fits, really well. But as you can see now, everything now is scaling the proper way. There are no media queries now. We've just improved on the clamp values to make sure that we don't have any issues, or we don't have any clamp issues where we need to add our media queries. Now out of the box, it's just going to work. And if I reduce the screen size here, you can see everything just gets smaller. There's no issues. And this is really perfect. So this is the type of headings that you want to use, especially if you want to really emphasize a bold design on your website. So these are, working perfectly. They are H1 to H6. All those are fine anyways, so there are no changes to that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, which also changes how we're going to be handling our headings, is the colors. So if I select this display heading large, okay, and I go into the design tab. If I go under design here, you can see I can change my heading color to light, which is what we had before. Okay, so this is ideal if you are designing on a dark background. Okay, but now we can go in and access our primary color. So I can just go in quickly and choose my primary color. I can do that for my secondary color. And I can also do exciting things like, let's say, for example, I choose primary, but I also want to make it regular. I don't want it bold. I can just do that. And just by doing that, I've already gone in and changed this. If I change this maybe from regular to, let's say, thin, you can see that it's really thin. So it just depends how you want to design your site. But this makes it very, very easy to, to find the right weight. As I mentioned, this also works on heading 1 to heading 6. So if I come over here and choose heading 1, you can see there it's selected. And then if I head over to my heading text, I can change it to light. I can go in and say primary. And while I'm here, I can also go in and set this to, let's say, extra bold. Right? So that is how our heading is responding. The next thing I want to talk about is also very, very important. And time again, when we design, we oftentimes choose these columns. And by the way, these are flex columns anyways. But this may not be the ideal way to work with our columns. So for example, if I go in here and add an image, I just want to show you the main difference. I'm going to go in here, select an image. And let's go with this one right here. We are going to duplicate this a few times and then drag it into position. Okay, so with this, out of the box, we've included columns. Okay, so I want to do a second example. And this second example here is going to have 1 column, whereas the top has 3 columns. So here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in and add 3 images. So let's go in and add our image and let's use a different one for now. And then we're going to duplicate this twice. Okay, so now that I've duplicated twice, it's one above the other, as you can see here. Okay, so if I were to go in here, I can now go into my elements, go into my column. And while I'm in my column here, I can go in and either choose auto grid, okay, which we had normally before, okay? But sometimes you may not want to use auto grid, right? You may want to use something totally different. So this time here, we have our own Flexbox. So if I come over here, you're going to notice that we have KrafterPRO, boom. And now we have Flexbox now working, and this is how we're getting our rows. So with this, our sizes have already been fixed here. Our gap here has also been optimized and it is ready for production. Whereas over here, you would need to go in and start playing around with your spacing and sizing to make sure that it is right. Whereas over here, all I have to do is to go into my column. And then over here on my design, I can go in and adjust the size as well. So I can go for, let's say, medium, which is where we are by default. And I can also choose extra large, which is slightly bigger, or we can even go really small like that, or we can completely go and say gap 0, right? So these gaps are also responsive, which means they decrease the size when we make the screen smaller. So as you can see here, I'm not sure if it's really clear, but our gaps here are really, really nice. Okay, so as we see this, we're going to be able to see exactly what is happening if we go to our layers here. So this here is the bottom one. You can see it's a row with 1 column. And then in that column, we have 3 items, right? But the top one, we have a lot going on. We have 3 columns. So look, this is the row, which is this one here. It has 3 columns, and in each column, we have 1 image each. Do you see what I mean? That is crazy. Whereas over here, we have 1 column and 3 images. So we have a lot more code over here on this one compared to the bottom one here. And this is the way you're supposed to be designing to ensure that you have a clean workflow which does not have a lot of code. Now, let me show you again what it looks like. So do you see the top one here? This one here has 3 rows, right? 1, 2, 3. And this one here has just 3 images and 1 row. So if we were to inspect this, you'll see that there's more code operating here as compared to the bottom one here. Now, I would think that this will affect our speed, but I haven't tested that. So with time, I'll test and see if this impacts on speed as well. But surely what you want to aim for is less code. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about here is the dashboard, okay? So over here on the dashboard, I've updated this. So when you log in, you're going to notice that we have this area here. Now, as you guys know, I do a lot of tutorials, I do a lot of updates, I do a lot of products. So a lot of you have asked me, you know, Mac, how can I help you or how can I support you? Well, I've added a dedicated area here if you want to support me. And you know what? Any contribution goes a long way. So here, if you click on Support Mac, right, it's going to go to Buy Me a Coffee. So here you can choose, you know, one coffee is $5. So you can go for 2 coffees. And this is the quantity here, by the way. Or you can go for 3 or even 4. Okay. If you just say buy now, it goes into the cart. And that is another way of supporting me. And as you can imagine, our community is growing. The hosting fees have gone up because there's close to, in fact, more than 3,000 users accessing Divi University every day. So the hosting fees are up, and you know, the software as we speak right now. And this is a very, very good announcement, by the way. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. And that is with our KrafterPRO design system. We know it has been very difficult for us to delete all the presets and then install them again. I'm going to be working with a developer. We're going to turn all our presets into a plugin. So it is going to be very, very easy for us to install our plugin. And on paper right now, we should be able to disable the plugin, and that will remove all the presets. And then when we install the brand new version, it puts back the presets. So that is going to be a much, much better workflow. So as you can imagine, you know, we've been having an issue with every time we have an update, we have to override our presets. And that can be a challenge because it duplicates all the presets. And right now we don't have a solid solution. I know we have something in the community. I'll also be exploring that as well. But I think having either a plugin or a child theme is going to be fantastic for our design system. That way it can be used on so many websites. The other thing also I want to mention is for our design system, I'm going to be changing the licensing very, very soon. At the moment, you can get it for $197 unlimited websites. So that is going to change very soon to allow access to even more people. So it's going to be on a licensing system where you're going to have a license for, let's say, 5 websites and then 20 websites and then 100 websites or something along those lines. That way it works better. So if you purchase it now, you get lifetime, and there's a lifetime option, and also there is an option for a yearly subscription. The other thing also I want to mention is when you log into your dashboard or when you log into Divi University, you're going to notice here where it says, please leave a review of a product that you've used. I would really appreciate it if you can leave me a review of any of our products, whether it's KrafterPRO, Crafter Presets, Initiate, or any products that you've used. That way, it's just going to help, you know, others have an idea of, you know, what's these products and how these products work and what they can, you know, benefit anyone. So all you have to do is, it's less than, it's a few seconds. All you need to do is to head over to DU Reviews, and then you say write review like that. And then all you have to do is to go in here and write a short title for your experience. So this could be KrafterPRO, and then you explain the experience, how KrafterPRO has worked for you, what issues you had and what it solved. And then you can add your star rating here, your first name and last name, and then over here your email. And also when you add your email will not be shared publicly, by the way. And this is an example of what the review is going to look like. And as you can see here, you can read more and read less, and it gives you an idea of what this review is about. So I thought I'll just give you a quick update and let you know what is happening behind the scenes. I'm really looking forward to KrafterPRO 1.1 and also doing a lot more lessons for the Divi 5 mastery course. I will also be doing more products, and we're going to be having a lot of done for you websites. So keep an eye on that, and all these done for you websites are all going to be based on the KrafterPRO design system for Divi 5. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for your support. And I know a lot of you have been disappointed here and there a few times, but you still believed in me. You still supported me. I don't take that for granted. So I want to take this opportunity and say thank you so much as well. All right. Take care, guys, and see you very soon.